creators can use in the future as well. So once again, welcome. Today's topic is all about how to make better videos. A little bit of background about me. I have been working since about 2006, and I've had a multitude of careers. And fortunately for me, I've managed to have this in mainly creative fields. Since 2011, I've been working in advertising. Actually, even before that, I've been working in advertising, and I had the good fortune of learning a whole lot of stuff about technology, about creative production, and all of that. And as a result, what's happened is that my journey, I've picked up a number of tips and tricks from many different aspects, especially when it comes to content production. And that is what I'm hoping to cover in today's session. And well, if you can look at your chat box, right? I'm actually going to be putting out the types of the main pieces, the main bullet points that we're going to be covering today. So if you have any questions about those in particular as well, please feel free to go ahead and share, type out your questions. To start things off, we need to talk a little bit about why do you actually need to make videos, right? And before we go any further, I want each one of you to know that it doesn't matter where you are in terms of your skill, in terms of your ability to create content, right? I mean, as long as you have one of these babies, which is a cell phone, you can go ahead and make more than enough content to sustain anybody and to drive your own business, right? So there's absolutely, like, all the stuff that I'm going to be talking about, most of the stuff I'm going to be talking about today is quite it's essentially stuff that you can use to take your video game up to a next level. But like I'm saying, if you can just work with a smartphone, right, that should be more than enough for us to get started, right? And in that situation, we also need to realize that, well, it can be quite daunting, right? It can be quite daunting because what happens is, sometimes when you're looking at different ways to actually create content, it could so happen that, we're not too sure if, we're doing the right thing, or, if it actually makes sense for us to invest so much of time and effort into video, right? And I'm here to say that yes, unequivocally, the answer is yes. Video should be your mainstay, if not a supplementary channel for you, especially if you wish to engage people on the internet today, right? And when we're looking at video, it comes in like mainly a few types, right? First would be the kind of video that we're having right now, which is webinars, right? You can have webinars, you can have meetings, you can have interactions, you can have panel discussions. All of this constitutes essentially like a formal meeting or a formal event that you conduct online, right? So that's number one. The second one is essentially a pre-recorded video, a video which you would record using your computer, using your phone, using a camera, and then you would publish that on the internet. Or usually you'd put it up on websites such as, say, YouTube or Vimeo or Instagram TV, right? IGTV. Any of these and more can be different locations for you to share your own content. It could be on WhatsApp or Telegram or Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever that makes sense. Those are pre-recorded videos. The third kind of a video would be known as live streams. Now, when you look at, again, apps on your phone, you have stuff such as Facebook Live. You have stuff such as YouTube Live. You have stuff such as Instagram Live, right? And you can go live on a number of different platforms. And it could make sense for you. And personally, going live with video is one of my favorites, simply because that allows you an unprecedented opportunity. You can interact with people while you're going live itself. And, when people are saying stuff, it can pop up on your screen. You can respond to them. You can interact with them. You can thank them. You can make them feel involved as a part of the production process itself, right? And that's a pretty powerful way to engage with your audience, with your fans, with your followers, and make them feel recognized, make them feel as if they matter. And that way video becomes quite important. When it comes to pre-recorded videos, right, there are many different types. And there have been times when Vikram and we've just conducted a webinar one-on-one, and we recorded that. And then we package that and we put that up as a part of the earlier Gigsy Creator Central videos, right? And what happened there was, well, we would just be talking, right? We would take a particular topic, something that we felt was critical, or perhaps we might be conducting an interview. Maybe we had questions, whatever those things were, we kind of got some practice in doing that. So talking head videos, that's what they're called, right? So essentially it's like right now it's just one talking head, I'm just talking, but you could have other situations where it's, well, you know, you could have, how do I say, you can have many people talking, or maybe you could have like just two people talking, whatever it is. Talking head videos can also be quite interesting. Now, one thing, another kind of a video that does exist is known as screen recording or screen capture, where you can essentially see what's happening on somebody else's screen. Now, there are a number of ways you could use this. If you are an artist, perhaps you could stream other people. You could record, you know, your own screen recording when you're drawing something, or you could even stream that live. I do a lot of map making work. I enjoy drawing fantasy maps, and I often record videos of that, or I stream it live while that's happening. That's another thing that could definitely be done. There are other options as well. Like, for example, if you're a coder, if you wish to teach people something like programming, or if you wish to teach them a certain concept where, you know, you want to use a PPT, you can definitely put that up on screen. You can record it, and then once you're done recording, you can package it and give it out as a video. Now, the cool thing that's been happening, especially since March, right, of this year, as far as I can remember, is that well, there's a new reality that has begun to set in, right? That we need to work more and more virtually. And consequently, each one of us is getting used to using a platform such as Zoom or Google Meets or Hangouts or whatever the tool of choice is. Consequently, what that means is that if you can use these tools, you can start recording and publishing your own video. All right. So in summary of this first section, the different types of videos are talking head videos, could be webinars, it could be pre-recorded videos, it could be streamed videos, it could be screen recordings, and pretty much it can even be like video recordings with your phone. Speaking of phones, the reason why I'm stressing on that is perhaps that is one thing that I'm going to go out on a limb and say everybody on this platform has it, right? And when you start making videos with your phone, right, you're essentially, you have like no excuse to not go ahead and make videos. I can already see 2 or 3 people I've actually helped out start making videos on the phone. When you start making these videos, when you're talking to the phone, right, you'll develop certain skill sets. You learn how to think about your videos. You learn how to maintain eye contact with the camera and not the person's face. These are all skills that you'll develop when you start creating a high volume of videos. Speaking of volume, in 2019, I had the good fortune of creating 365 videos in 365 days. It sounds quite improbable. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's definitely possible. I've been there, I've done that. They were short videos, right? 1-minute videos and stuff like that. Very, very good way. It's a very good way for you to get very comfortable in front of the camera. Apart from that, even before that, again, topics don't matter, right? Even in 2017, when my daughter was born, for the first 6 months of her life, I made a set of private YouTube videos called Daddy Vlog Desi Edition. Believe it or not, I uploaded them onto YouTube. Because again, just messages to my daughter from every single day, right? Like, hey, I made this, I made that, you know, just me sending messages. So it doesn't have to be private, it doesn't have to be public as well. It's a very, very cool way for you to get practice, especially when you start making private videos. Great. So that is the types of video, right? So now I want to talk to you a little bit about how can you actually do, how do you create these videos, right? Of course, the phone is perhaps the most obvious. And one really cool tool that you can use is something like this, right? It's a phone stand, right? And quite often when you're making videos, depending upon how steady your hand is, you can either just hold it like that, or you can obviously just rest the phone on your holding device, right? The phone holder thingy, and you can actually get some stable video. You see, stability of the video is going to be quite important, because if it's going to be jittery, it's shaky, yes, as long as your content is riveting, it's absolutely fine. But you're going to need all the help that you can get. So in that regard, what you want to be doing is make sure that your video capture device is very, very stable. So the first one is obviously the phone. The second is the webcam that is there in your computer. Now, I have a Mac, which has like a very native camera, which is quite proficient. I use this to create courses and sell on Gigsy itself. Apart from that, in case if you have a Windows, if you have a decent camera, you can go ahead and use that. Vikram, I believe, is on a Windows machine, if I'm not mistaken. You can notice at times the differences in clarity and quality between, let's say, two cameras, right? For example, Vikram's quality is different than mine, and you'll have to find a look that works for you. Perhaps you're driven by circumstance and you will just use the one that is there directly with you, right? So you can go ahead and use that. You can always buy an external webcam. I think they retail for about 4,000 to 5,000 rupees, like a HD webcam, which is like 1080p quality, which is like the second highest HD level that we can go to, or third highest. If you're going to be buying an external webcam, you can go on Amazon. You can search for that. It would be like I said, about 5,000, I think max around 7,000 bucks. It is 1080p is what you want to get. That's going to be pretty high quality video. And the advantage of that is you can just directly plop it in front of your, just on the top, the screen of your monitor, of your laptop. You can do that. Or you can place it on other platforms as well. Madhukar has a question about the video file. I'm going to come back to you on that, Madhukar. Please do keep on putting your questions, because some of them can be technical and they could take some time. So if it makes sense for me to answer then and there, I will. If not, I will definitely address each one by the end of the session, before the session ends. All right, so you get that external HD webcam or something. You can place it elsewhere, and so that it makes sense for you. So that is another option. If you own a DSLR, right? That is a very, very good option as well, right? It's definitely going to take a lot more effort, but your corresponding production quality, the quality of the video that comes out, will also change. And it's a trade-off that you want to do, right? Between do you wish to go ahead and have like really top-notch quality videos, but they'll also take a long time to produce, or do you wish to get the videos as soon or as quickly as you possibly can? My preference is I lean towards the school of iteration. So I'd rather have like a much higher quantity, so that with each iteration, I can make it better and better and better. But again, it's your choice. Final option would obviously be to rent out video cameras. Let's say if you want to build out a course specifically and you're confident about investing in the course, you could obviously find other videographers who can come and record this course content for you directly, right? So they'll bring in their own cameras, their own setups. Of course, you want to be careful about COVID-19 and coronavirus and all that, but that is an option as well. Now, that is for external videos, right? When you want to do the recording for people who are, if it's just like a talking head video, then you can definitely go ahead and do that as well. So that's not a problem. Now, let's talk about the other kind of video where you want to show your screen, right? There are many pieces of software that are available. My personal favorite and my personal recommendation is a software called Camtasia, Camtasia. It's available for Windows and for the Mac, and it allows you to, yes, Camtasia is the one. Thank you for writing that, Vikram. Camtasia is a tool which will allow you to record in any format that you choose, right? You can record your screen, but it doesn't stop there. It also contains a pretty powerful editor that you can use to go ahead and add specific callouts, add some text on your screens, add your logo. You can do all of that. Of course, it does come with a bit of a learning curve, but the software, the first time you run it, it will teach you how to use the tool as well. Now, if you don't wish to spend money on this, you will have to find other mechanisms. Zoom could be a good option, right? Especially if you're just one person in the meeting. You can start that, you can hit the record button, and you can start a meeting with just one person, right? And you can record that thing, but you will get that Zoom watermark that may pop up every now and then. So that's something that you can look at. Camtasia is both a recording as well as an editing tool, right? For the Mac, you can also use the QuickTime Player to start recording the screen as well. At any given point of time, you can look at, for editing, you can look at these open source tools such as Video Shot. That is, again, a good tool that you can look at. We will, when we send out this, the recording, I'll also include like a list of tools as well as URLs that you can go ahead and get them for as well. So on the Mac, you have QuickTime that's going to help you. Video Shot is a good option. However, if you are getting serious about creating all of these things, then for recording your screen and for editing, I think Camtasia is a fantastic tool that you can use. Zoom is a great option as well if you are just looking to showcase what's happening in the screen and you want to record that. So that's a nifty little workaround that you can use. Great. So we finished off the types of cameras, right? So when it comes to cameras, we've spoken about external cameras such as HD cameras or your mobile phone or the camera that comes as a part of your monitor, as well as DSLRs. These are all good options. And when you want to record your screen, you can look at specific software. VLC is a great software as well. I forgot about that. That's, again, a very good tool that you can use to look at recording your device, right? And the content. Great. The next thing, we do have one question. Camtasia. That's the one that Vikram shared, Mr. Ranga. It's Camtasia. That's the one. VLC is the other one. All right. So next one we're going to be talking about is about lighting. Lighting is very important, and it's going to be very awkward, but I'm going to be showing you my setup. I do apologize for my, well, I'm a geek, so I can't help it too much. But what I do have is that, okay? That's essentially like a giant light that looks like a ring. It's called a ring light. And what that does is it's something that I can use to essentially like project a lot of light on my face. Now, the biggest mistake, right? And I even saw this when Mr. Ishwaran had logged in with his video in the beginning, is that whenever we're recording videos, right, we want to be comfortable, right? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But what we end up doing is what we end up doing is putting ourselves behind the light source, right? So what we want to do is you always want to remember that the setup that you want to have, right, is you want to have the light, okay, the light, if the light's shooting this way, right, you want to go that way. So the light source, your recording thing, your recording device, and then your face, right, or your subject. So you want to go in that way. Now, what happens is when we're sitting like flat up against a wall, right, most of our houses, the tube lights are right above our heads, right, or there might be somewhere over there. So what happens is it's not bright enough, or sometimes it casts very, see right now, you can see like some sort of shadows on my face, right, except when the light's coming in from the top, it's going to be more pronounced, right, and you definitely want to avoid that. You always want to put the camera or the recording device between you and the light source so that the light's always falling on your face and it's lit. But sometimes, so that's rule number one. Rule number two, you want to make sure that your face is evenly lit, because look at this. I'm just going to shake this thing again. I'm doing this, right? So right now what's happening is this part of my face is well lit, but this part of my face is a little bit dark. That's because the light is falling on my face from that side. And consequently, what happens is, again, terribly sorry for moving this laptop around, is that my face is only partially lit, and that can cause some pretty dark shadows. You don't need too much when you're looking to build out some simple courses. And if you are looking to expand into lighting and all that, that's something that's slightly outside our scope. But one of our creators, Pratibha, could be the right person for you to get in touch. And right, so that's about lighting, right? So you definitely want to keep the recording device between your face and the light source. Now, what are some good light sources? One thing that you can do is definitely use a ring light like that. And during the daytime, I have this massive window to my side, right? That's something that I can obviously use for lighting. Now, when it comes to light, they come in two colors, right? One is these bright white lights that we have, and the other are the yellow bulbs, right? The LED bulbs or whatever they are. They affect the kind of color the final thing gets. You don't have to worry too much about it as long as you can keep it consistent, but you got to be aware that lighting does affect what's going to be coming out at the very end. One small note when it comes to using natural light sources like a window or a door that you're sitting in front of. If you're recording over extended periods of time, that lighting is going to be changing. The angle is going to be changing. The brightness is going to be changing. It might not be apparent to you because you are in that same room. You've been recording over a period of time, and that change is very gradual. But let's say if you're recording 30 videos, 40 videos, right? That difference can be quite stark and can become quite evident as well. So what you want to do is kind of figure out a way of, and this is something that I have done myself, cover this up with a curtain so that I'm controlling this and always record with the same light. Sometimes I have cheated by just turning on this light because it's so bright and powerful and right in front of my face. But you definitely want to go ahead and control every aspect of this lighting thing that you can. The other thing that you can do is get yourself a table lamp. If you guys have seen the movie Pixar, right? So you have that little lamp that's going to be bouncing around. I believe it's also known as an architect's lamp, right? Pick up one of those and you have like the same LED bulb or something, and you just pop it up coming from your face or just above the camera, right? That's a great place to set up your light so that it's falling on your face and it's lit well. One caveat though, right now as well, when I'm speaking with you, right, into the camera, there's this very bright, glaring light that's shining on my face. It does take some getting used to, but once you've mastered it, you can get some very, very well lit videos that that you can come up with as well. Finally, one important thing I want to talk about is the setting. Now, you see, I have some things over here in the background, right? I have some of my books. I have some of these things. You can call this like the set. You can call this the backdrop, whatever you want to call it, right? Depending upon your nature and purpose, you can construct such a backdrop, right? All it requires is that you are conscious and you are aware. You're choosing this background with intention. Many a times we are like we're floating through the river of life on a rubber duck of, I don't care, right? That's okay. That's one way to go about it. But a better way to approach it is to actually build it with intention. Ideally, you want to get a background that is very plain, non-distracting, right? Something that is, so you don't have people walking around. If you have shadows, like I do have, this is not the ideal background as well, because my chair's shadow also pops up, my head shadow pops up. But depending upon your nature and purpose, you could get a very, very nice background. If you do have no choice, right? If you don't have a choice when it comes to figuring out what kind of background you can get, just try to get something that doesn't have too many people walking behind, and you can do absolutely fine, right? Personally, if I could, I would love to record my videos with like some sort of a nature or a forest or a garden, or like ideally like Cubbon Park, right? If you're from Bangalore. In the background, but of course, since that's not possible, I have to settle to this. But I am injecting a little bit of my personality. Some of my favorite books are there. You can see some Dungeons and Dragons stuff. You can see some art to some people that gifted me, and well, this is what makes it me, right? So that's all I have about lighting and videos. All right, I'm just going to take a small break and answer any questions that have popped up. Okay, Madhukar BV has a question. How much should I worry about the size of the video file? Madhukar, what you ideally want to do is to record it in as big a size as possible, as high quality as you possibly can. Because what happens later on is when you are uploading it to a platform, say such as Gigsy, say YouTube, say Facebook, right? They will automatically crunch it for you. And whoever's going to be consuming that content, right? This platform will serve it on the best kind of quality that the recipient can manage, right? For example, let's say that I have a very, very poor internet connection, right? Maybe the best quality that I can consume is 144 kbps. All right. So let's say that's the maximum quality that I can record it. I can consume it, right? But if you're recording your yoga videos, what you would ideally be doing is what you would ideally be doing is you want to record it in as high quality as possible, right? And what you want to do is you want to record it in as high quality, you want to process it in as high quality as possible, and then you want to put it off in, upload it to the platform. So the platform will decide which is the best downsampled version that it can serve, right? So that's there. Handbrake is a lovely tool. I haven't used it in a long time. But from what I do remember, it's a great tool for processing videos. Vikram, have you used it?
Yeah, it's very, very simple to use. You can download it as an executable onto your laptop and actually process videos. In fact, it even retains the quality and actually reduces the size. Very beautiful tool to use. Very simple also to use. A bunch of tutorials even on YouTube on how to use it, but you may not even need one. Anyway, I think we can even share a link for the tutorial itself. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very sure that we should definitely share all of this as a part of the email that we do send out as well. Okay. One more thing about screen recording that I did remember is if you have the latest version of Windows, you can record your screen naturally. Like, as in, you don't need to install any software. Like the way Mac has QuickTime, Windows has this game bar from which you can, I think, press the Windows key and R, and it'll start recording, right? It'll pop up a little bar using which you can go ahead and start recording. There are other tools as well. I believe, which one was that? Cam Studio. Cam Studio is, again, another open source tool that you can use. Again, for Windows, I don't think there are too many options, but you can definitely find another one. I think it's called Record My Desktop. Again, open source tool that you can use to go ahead with that. Thank you for sharing that, Tony, and Vikram as well. All right, Ishwaran has a question. How effective is choosing a virtual background and recording the video? Absolutely. If you can get away with it, Ishwaran, it's going to be really, really good. Again, when you're using a virtual background, right, it's beneficial for you to have to keep a couple of things in mind. One, you want to put some distance between you and the background, right? Like right now, I can touch this wall because it's like hardly like 2 inches away from this headrest in my chair, right? If you can keep that at, let's say, about 2 feet, 3 feet, and you light up the background as well, then the virtual background has a has a very good chance of just it's coming out really, really well. If you can do that, go ahead and try it. But sometimes what happens is when you're putting up a virtual background, it will, like around the edges, right? It tends to be a little bit fuzzy, right? So that is something that you do want to keep in mind. That would really help. Mac, okay, Mr. Ranga says Mac has certain limitations. iMovie cannot accommodate external cameras. Well, how you would work in this sort of a situation, Mr. Ranga, is you would use an external camera. You would record all the content that you want, right? And then you would import the movie files or the MPG, whatever the format that you recorded in. You would bring that into iMovie, and then you would go ahead and edit it. If you are looking to get a little bit serious into, like, invest in your editing, you can look at software such as Adobe Premiere or FCP, Final Cut Pro. These are quite powerful tools. They're like industry standards, right? So you might want to give it some thought before you go in. That's why I recommended Camtasia. It's what I would probably call the prosumer, right? It's halfway between a consumer product and a professional product, right? So it's a prosumer product. All right, I'm having a little bit of a lisp today. Okay. All right, so moving on to the next one. Yes, microphones. I believe I've said this a number of times in the past. I do have the face for radio, which is why over my years and years of creating content, I have fallen in love with creating audio content. Plus, I've been told that at a drop of a hat, I can bring in Vikram, I'm very, very sure about what I said. I have a face for radio. Anyway, I picked up a number of different tools, and I'm really, really excited. It's like me showing off all my toys, right? And I really, really want to show you all of these things. Okay, first off are these kind of microphones. They're known as lapel microphones, right? I'm sorry, there's a bit of a jumble, but what you can see over here are, let me show you that. Oops. Right. Oops. This is what happens when you have the fan running and you have a little pop mic. All right. So you see this. Okay. I'm hoping it's focusing, right? So that thing is known as a lapel mic. What you do is this part is the bit that picks up the audio, and this thing is a clip. As you can see, the clip opens and closes. And what you would do is you would essentially just plug it in, right? Like you put it on over here. And on top of the clip, you would have one of these sponge heads that will go on, right? They're called as pop filters. And you just plug it on top of there so that it doesn't pop up. Like even this one's got one of those, so you can see that, right? I'll give you the name, right? So you just plug that on over there. And I'm just gonna put this back very, very gently. Right, so these kind of mics, right? These are known as lapel mics, and you can get them. This particular one, I believe, is a Boya, B-O-Y-A is the brand name. I believe it's a MD4. The special thing about this particular lapel mic is that it's a two-header mic, okay? So what that means is it has two of these, right? So two of these things, which will then come out, right? Two mics which can be connected, which then come out in this sort of a 3.5 mm jack. Now this thing can go into your computer. It can go into your phone, right? And that's it. So I found that to be one of the coolest and the fastest and the easiest ways for me to conduct interview kind of videos. What I do is I walk into someone's office, right? I plug my own end of the lapel mic in. I'd plug it on somebody else, plug it into my phone. I turn on the recorder and I start recording. Now with the Boya MD4, I think that's what it's called. The brand is Boya, B-O-Y-A. I'm just typing that out. Right? It does come in this other version of the mic. Again, let me just show you that. So it comes like this. The cardboard thing is my own idea, but again, it's just a single header mic, right? And then it comes up with this sort of 3.5 mm jack. Again, you just plug it in the phone and you can, it's essentially just improving the quality of the microphone, of the audio that's actually coming up. You can see the brand name there as well, Boya. What you want to do is you really want to make sure that you are placing this end of the microphone kind of close so that it is definitely picking up the audio quality, the audio as well as it possibly can. Then the other end, if it is a 3.5 mm jack, it can plug into your phone or your laptop and you can start recording your audio. You could pick up an external recorder as well. It's known as a Zoom, I think. Zoom? I forget. I think it was Zoom HN1. Yeah. H1, sorry. Thank you. Tony is a musician. He definitely know a lot more about this than I would. That's something that you can use and you can plug in your stuff in there. Now here's another thing. So that's one kind of a microphone, right? The other one is this, okay? You see this microphone is a Shure SM57, right? It's like the kind of microphones that you would see in movies and concerts and stuff like that. And it requires some extra equipment for it to be connected from this device for it to be used in other software situations, right? So what you would need is you would need something, okay, a special kind of a wire which goes from here. It's known as an XLR cable, and what it does is it goes and it sits on a box which is positively filthy right now. Terribly sorry. It's called the Focusrite. That's what I have. It's an external audio card. If you're not understanding this technological bit, don't worry, okay? You don't need to worry about any of these things. You can just get yourself one of these, that jangled mess of software that I do have, and you can use that to get some good quality audio. However, you can notice that there is a significant difference in the quality of audio that I'm using right now because I'm using a professional quality microphone. And maybe if you want to get that, you can definitely go into that. There are other options as well, right? And from my days of working in I think I worked in a call center for about 3 hours or so. And that's when I got to know that you have these other kind of microphones, which are also known as headsets. So I have this other one here, and it's by this brand called Jabra. And this is, again, a very, very good quality microphone. And what happens is one advantage that you get in this is that this part, right, the bit that actually picks up the audio from your mouth is going to be always the same distance, right? Because when you are wearing it like this, right, obviously I haven't plug this in yet, right? But again, this is a 3.5 mm thing. When I have this audio quality, it's like if I'm talking close by, you can see that my voice sounds in a certain way. And then suddenly when I'm going back, the audio sounds different. You wouldn't have such a problem with this sort of a headset because no matter how much you move your head, it's always going to be the same distance from your lips, right? So that's always there. When you're using an external microphone like this, you want to kind of keep in mind that you want to keep like about 1 fist distance, right? That's a good rule that I picked up. Now, of course, at times you might be ending up having nothing. I think Mr. Ishwaran had this in the beginning of the session as well, right? You have your simple headset, which again comes in and it has this little mic that comes in. If you can, try to avoid this as much as possible because it sounds usually absolutely hideous. And well, if you have nothing, I mean, definitely go ahead and use it, right? So that's another option. I know my man, Tony, he uses Bluetooth mics. They can be quite painful in terms of making sure that the audio quality is coming in. So I still advocate for wired options when it comes to microphones. So the Boya MM1 is a great one. And if you're looking to invest, I think that's less than 2,000 rupees. Yes, Tony, I'm really happy you got that. It's less than 2,000 rupees and it can amplify the quality of content that you're putting out. And it comes in like a nice little travel pouch like this. So you can always record that. Here's the cool thing about recording audio. Sometimes, you know, you might have like a lot of noise, like, you know, kids running around the house or the mixie is running and stuff like that. If you do have a car, sitting in the car in the back seat and just recording is a great place, especially when the car is parked in the basement. Very little noise can come in, right? Very little noise can come in. So you have like a lot of stuff that's going to dampen the noise. So if you just want to record audio, go ahead, just go sit in the back of your car with your microphone, just take it out and start recording. And I think with that, we've essentially finished the microphones bit. One thing I do want to talk about a little bit more is the audio quality. Now, it doesn't matter how, like even if your video is average, that's okay. But the better your audio is, it's actually proven research, right? Like if your audio is really, really poor, people are going to leave. But if your video is really, really poor, but the audio is still fine, there's still a chance that people are going to stay. So you definitely want to invest in, if you're looking at upgrading, you definitely want to invest in your audio first before you go into videos, right? And some couple of tips, if you're just going to be recording, again, pure audio, you can do these things to get better quality audio, right? One is, you know, if you have your cupboard where you have your clothes and all that, you can just open that cupboard, you can put your microphone in there, you can just look in there and start talking, right? So it provides a lot of natural dampening that can improve your audio quality. That's number one. Number two, if you have a very thick rajai, right? Like you can just like a very thick cover, like a bed sheet that you can put on yourself, go ahead and put that up, put yourself under that cover. You can still record very good audio as well. There is actually one more point, the car, right? You can obviously sit in the car and record. You can obviously go for a different kind of a microphone. It's called a condenser microphone. And what happens there is that these microphones are very sensitive, right? The kind of microphone that I have is slightly different. This is known as a dynamic microphone. You could try it out. You can see audio qualities of different microphones and choose which ones that you like. Some people do recommend shotgun microphones. I don't. I definitely recommend pure old dynamic microphones because even right now I have like bikes buzzing, but I'm pretty confident that you can't hear anything, right? So that's the one. If you have any questions about kinds of microphones, I'm going to recommend that you speak to Mr. Tony, right? You can definitely, that would work. Bindu's point about wall out of flattened cardboard and you place it in the door beside windows, it can definitely help. But if you're just doing podcasting, trust me, I literally just have like a rajai and I just throw it over myself. Before, right now with this, I'm somewhat okay. And I would just record. Just get like very hot, but quality of audio is going to be absolutely stellar. All right, there was one question. Yes, Mr. Rangad asked, is there a tool that can improve voice quality? Yes, actually, yes. You will need, okay, I'm just going to type it out. Auphonic.com, right? They do offer a free plan where if you put, you record your MP3 file and then you go to auphonic.com, you can upload your MP3 file or whatever that recording is, right? It will take that and it will for the sake and purpose, for the intent and purpose of this video, it will magically make it sound better. All right. I don't want to get into the details of compression and levels and EQ and arrangement and stuff like that, but you can just go there, you can upload your file, right? And it would make that sound much, much better. So Mr. Ranga, you can definitely go ahead and try that. I believe there was one other question. Yes. Which is the most user-friendly microphone for a podcast, single and multiple people? Ms. Bindu, I'm going to say that definitely the Boya MM1 is a great startup microphone if it's just going to be one person. And you can plug it into your phone, and on your phone, you can have the Anchor.fm app, which will allow you to run your podcast from your phone itself. If that should set you back by about 2,000 rupees or something. If you want to do it with multiple people, you can get the next version of the Boya. I think it's the MD4, MM4 or something. It's a two-headed Boya microphone, right? That should again set you back by about 4K or something. That's a great one if you want to do like one-on-one interviews. However, if you do have access to a quiet place, I'm going to recommend that you get yourself a Blue Snowball. Blue is the name of the company, or you can get the Blue Snowball ICE, right? That's an option. Or you can also get yourself the Samsung Meteor. These are three microphones which are condenser microphones, and they are really good if you can do it, if you can use it in a quiet place. I think that would be really good. All three of these are portable as well. For the longest time, I would just put my gear right in. I'll just check that. Yeah, just one sec. I want to show you. All right, I'm not going to be able to dig it out, but there's a box that's like about the size of, it's about this big, right? Like, so that big, right? So that big. And what happens is you can put all of your audio recording gear in such a box and you can lug it around. It fits inside a backpack. So that works really well. Okay. Finally, content ideas and software. For content ideas, we've definitely discussed this. It's there as a part of the Passion to Profit Bootcamp. It's one of the first videos that we made as a webinar. And you can, best place to find questions. No, the box was just to show that I would just put everything in that and take it around, right? So that's it. So for content ideas, you definitely want to check on Quora. You want to check, you want to ask your audience. And as a part of your market research, this would have definitely popped up. Otherwise, I think I have mentioned this before as well. AnswerThePublic.com is a great place for you to find questions that people are asking about your chosen field. So go there, get the list of questions, and you can go ahead and create content about this as well. Now, finally, I just want to talk a little bit about software. And I realized that we were getting to the end of the session, and my goodness, I've been talking nonstop. All right. So in terms of software, right, one of the tools, and I would really like to show, you know what, I'm just going to share my screen right now. Okay. So one of the tools that I really, really enjoy, right, when it comes to showcasing something, especially when it's going to be like a screen recording thing, is a mind map, right? So essentially, it's something quite simple. It starts like this, and then I can add something like 0.1, 0.2, 3, and then for each of these things, right, I can do like, I can have point A, I can do point B, I can do point C, right? And afterwards, I can, of course, like reset it, and, you know, I can realign it in such a way that it makes a lot of sense. Excuse me. It's a very, very powerful tool for you to communicate a large number of ideas, right? So I'm going to give you another example. All right. So this is something that I had made, and you can see that just using this particular one concept, right? What I've been able to do is I've started off with a situation, you know, I'm explaining each one of these, and each of the points that I have to make, right? Like the cause, the answer, the result, and your turn, and all of this is just essentially a way for me to structure this information. On MindNode is a paid software. Again, that's something that you can use. An alternative tool for this would be something known as Xmind. You can definitely use Xmind for that. You can also look at tools such as you have FreeMind, you have FreePlane, you have Coggle, you have eDrawSoft Mind Map. These are all tools that you can use to go ahead and create you know, your own sort of mind maps, right? So there is this other tool, which is exclusively on the Mac. I'm not sure how many of you actually have a Mac, but this is something that, you know, I can also look at. And when I'm saying, when I'm trying to create, when I'm trying to create a mind map with, let's say, two different central ideas, right? So maybe I'm trying to explain a concept where these two are linked. I can say like, okay, so this is point A, and then this is linked to point B, and then that goes to point C. I can do that, right? And the same thing I can do is with that, right? So I can do X, Y, whatever, but you get the point, right? So then from here, I can actually say that, okay, so this is connected to that, right? So I can draw these sort of connections, and I don't have to just start with one central thing, which would be the case with MindNote, but here I can have like multiple clusters of points and ideas, excuse me, that can be used to communicate key points that I want to share, right? So that's one for showing content and relationships. Another thing that I really want to highlight, this is again, and you have alternatives like this for the Mac as well, right? So I'm going to be, I can point out, right? Especially when I'm teaching. Can you guys see the arrows where I'm pointing? If you can, just type out a yes. I'm pretty sure that you will be able to, right? Apart from this, what I can do is I can also highlight different boxes, right, that I want to see, or I can essentially just have lines that I can draw, right? Again, and then when I'm done with all of that, just clear out all of these things. The point is now, especially when I'm trying to teach people stuff, right? It's very useful when I want to point out to specific tools. This is called Demo Pro Tools. Yeah, it's called Demo Pro, and it's available on the Mac. I am pretty sure there must be some equivalent on Windows as well. So you should definitely do a little bit of research on finding out what is an option. The last thing that I do, yes, Demo Pro, that is correct, Mr. Ranga. The last thing that I do want to share is a very useful resource that I have found at a number of times, right, is Fiverr.com. I don't have all the skills that I would love to have, right? There's definitely some pieces that are lacking, but what I can do from time to time is I will outsource some work. And I have gone to Fiverr.com. I've gotten design work done. I've got like my own logo done. I've got some animations done. You can do this and more, right? At a number of different rates from a number of different designers from a number of different countries even. So if you want to get like a certain template done for your video, or if you want your videos to be edited in a certain way, or if you want some certain music that's going to be coming in as a part of your background, right? You definitely want to go ahead and check out Fiverr.com. And with that, I believe I have very successfully raced through pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about in terms of software, content ideas, audio quality, and stuff. I'm just going to give you all a very quick recap in terms of types of videos. We have talking head videos, we have interviews, we have live videos, we have recorded screen videos, and we have pre-recorded videos, things that you can do with the phone as well. That's very important. You should not let not having any of this hardware stop you, right? You can't, that's just an excuse. You're not allowed to make that excuse. That's number one. Cameras, we spoke about DSLRs, we spoke about our monitor cameras, we spoke about external HD cameras, we spoke about using our phones itself, we spoke about using, I believe there was recording of the screen as well as a way of creating video content. That's there. We spoke about lighting, how I have a ring light. You could also use a table lamp or a giant window, but you have to remember the golden rule, which is to place your camera or the recording source between the light source and yourself, so that you're very well lit. Make sure that there's like there's no light that's directly falling on your head, and if you can, leave a little bit of a gap between you and your head as well. Make sure you choose your background correctly. That's there. Then we spoke about different kinds of microphones. We spoke about the Boya, which is a very good plug-and-play microphone that you can use on your phone. We spoke about headsets like Jabra. We spoke about more expensive options like the Shure SM5758. We spoke about the Blue Snowball, Samson Meteor. All of them are condenser microphones that you can look at. We spoke about audio quality, how, like, for example, there is a motor running outside, but I'm pretty sure you can't hear this. That's a good option, and how you can reduce any noise if you're going for pure audio, like how you can reduce that by recording in your cupboard or your wardrobe, by recording in your car, or by putting a heavy rajai on top of you. If you do have to record, like, quietly in a with the video on. I'm going to recommend that you record in the middle of the night. That's usually when the sound is much lower. And finally, we spoke about content ideas, answer the public, Quora, asking your audience. That's a great way in finding in terms of software. I showed you mind maps and Scalpel and Demo Pro as well, and you can figure out other tools for the same. Right. Zoom It and Epic Pen for Windows. Thank you, Vikram. I do appreciate that. And Mr. Ranga says, quick and short videos, I use InShot in mobile. That's a great tool. If you want to just maintain everything just out of your phone, that is an option as well. All right, with that, I have officially concluded my monologue and rambling information dump on you guys for everything that I've shared. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and share. You can ask us questions about what we discussed today. You can ask us questions about the Gigsy platform, anything that you need, we are here to answer. So please, the floor is all yours.
Hi, Arvind.
Yes, Mr. Ishwaran.
See, I'm fairly new, about maybe a couple of weeks or less than that.
Okay.
Have you had any webinar on how to, get the audience, have more positive response to the content that we put on the platform, be it video or be it audio? Or
we did have something which could be of great use to you. That would be the first session, which is the Passion to Profit Bootcamp. Mr. Ishwan, you should have received in your email inbox a series of emails from either Shreya or Vikram or myself, right? Which will essentially contain a 30-step plan that you can do, right?
Okay.
Have you gone through that yet?
No.
Okay.
When I was away, all those emails came. Only after I came back, I started seriously getting into this.
Not a problem. What you can do, Mr. Ishwaran, is once you log in to your Gigsy profile, right? After you logged in, on the right-hand side, there will be this button called Resources, right? If you click on that, you should be taken to a page or a series of articles which will contain a number of different useful tools, and one among them should be the Passion to Profit Bootcamp, right?
Okay.
So you can go through that, and that will definitely help you with your requirement.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome.
Also, Mr. Ishwaran, one of the things that you can do to move more audiences is to engage with people a lot more on WhatsApp, on private Telegram groups, or even on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, and move them for premium content towards Gigsy. That's something that you can do, because on Gigsy itself, you may not get too much of engagement until and unless there is a purchase that happens, or if there are people who are subscribing to you. Right? So it's good to use free social networks first. Then move audiences to a paid version.
All right. Yep.
Yeah. Ms. Bindu has shared something that Instagram and Facebook Live is working great currently. Personally, if you are looking to go a lot more with a live video, then StreamYard.com is a wonderful option. It will allow you to do two things. One is it will allow you to stream simultaneously to two places, right? You can stream to YouTube and you can stream to, where else was that? Facebook or any other platform of your choice, right? Depending upon which one you've chosen. Beyond that, you can also add your own logo, your own branding, and you can highlight questions that are popping up, and you can show that as a part of the video stream itself. So that creates for a more compelling and an engaging experience as well. So StreamYard.com. Thank you for sharing that, Vikram. Right. Any other questions? I can talk about this all day. I just absolutely adore this. So.
So Arvind, I had a question.
Yes.
So I am a very disorganized person, and I wanted something to like write notes. Basically, I wanted any software or anything which I can use digitally and which I can access via cloud and things like that.
Okay. There are three options, right? One is Obsidian or Zetla. You will need to use that with, I feel like a doctor right now making a prescription with Dropbox. See, Obsidian and Zetla, both of them, they create TXT files, right? Like plain old text files. You could just write that out and you can place it in a Dropbox folder that you can access on your phone. You can definitely use Google Tasks, or you can also look at Evernote. Right?
Okay.
Evernote is one tool that can synchronize across multiple devices. I think it's 2 devices for the free version, and then more advanced versions will cost you more. So that's there. Personally, I also will highly recommend Trello. Trello.com is a great tool where you can make lists, you can add cards, and you can showcase different things in different places, right? That's a very very easy to use tool, and you can store notes and ideas on that. Plus, if you're on Android, if you're on Android, from the home screen itself, you can write down notes and you can directly post it as a card. So cordless microphones are good. They do come with a bit of a challenge, Mr. Ranga, that is the transmitter, right? Sometimes it can run out of battery. But apart from that, if you can manage it, if you're getting good audio quality, that's absolutely fine. So that's there. I have not used any cordless microphones recently, so I'm not aware. Happy to help, Miss Bindu. That's great. Okay. All righty. It's 8:01. Thank you so much for your time. I'm now officially going to stop the recording.